All right, here's a quick video I wanted to put together just to talk about the fundamentals of batching and queuing. So I have this workflow here that is connected to a Google Sheet. It does some research for a given row and then updates my Google Sheet. So I have this Google Sheet here with tons of rows. You can imagine I want to run this workflow several times to populate all the data here that I need. So for example, here I have a app name, and I'm going to use that as my input on my webhook here. And you can see when I run this, it'll do the research and then go in and populate that row. Now, this is just a simple example. In practice, this workflow could take a lot longer for each row, but just for the purpose of this demo, we're doing it this way. So you can see it populated the data there, and the workflow ran successfully. So some things that you have to do is, you may just start like this where you have a workflow and you're running it for certain inputs. What you have to do is add a webhook. This is one of our trigger types. And you can just ask Pinkfish to do this, say add a trigger endpoint or add a webhook endpoint, and then, and you can tell it that you want it to have certain inputs that align with your rows. So it's important that the key, when you're configuring these inputs, has the same column name as what you're going to be inputting. So in this case, it's the app name. And then, when you're testing, you can test with the test value there, which is an exact value I have here, for example, GitHub. And then anytime you want to just run individually, you can start it from here and you can change that input. Like what I did, I just tried Instagram and that ran through and populated. So now that I have that all set up, you should have a trigger endpoint all set up, and now we can actually get into the batching and queuing. So this is just a prerequisite. You need a webhook on the workflow, an API endpoint on the workflow, and then you can start doing batching and queuing. So now we go to workflows, queues, and you can create a new queue. This doesn't really matter, just create a name. You can declare how much concurrency you want. If you want it to run faster, you up the concurrency. You just got to watch out for limits. This all depends, rate limiting. This all just depends on what's happening in your workflow. I just have like a concurrency of 1 right now, I think, for this one that I made. So then there's this button here to bulk upload items. You can upload a CSV. So what I'm going to do is just go here, download CSV, and then I have a CSV of this basically. So then I can upload my CSV here, and it gives you a preview of what's going to be inputted. And I have all these other rows in here. It doesn't really matter, but it's basically going to go through each line item, run that workflow with each line item. The only input I care about, which is what the workflow is using, is this app name. So it's really just going to use this column in the inputs here. So I'll go ahead and click next. And this is important. We want to select the worker. This is the workflow. And so my workflow is this app research Google Sheets updater. And here it is. And I have it enabled as a draft. So that's going to work right now. So I can just use that draft worker. And then there's all these like other cool things you could do. Like once the whole batch is completed, you can call another workflow to like summarize the data or email you. Like maybe this might take a few hours and you want to be notified when it's done and get like a whole report of, what went well, what didn't go well, or if there's anything you want to point out. So that's where you can call another workflow. But for this demo, just keeping it simple, just start a batch and we can monitor it. So I'm starting the batch here. And you'll get some information here, like how much has been queued or pending, and how much is running at a time. So I have 3 workers, I think, running concurrently. And you can click on this at any point and see, like, do some filtering and see, like, if I don't want to see pending, I want to see what's running and what's been completed. I can refresh here, see what's been completed, and you can kind of see the runs here on what happened. Or even just a better way is you can just go to the workflow itself and go to the monitor. You can do some filtering here and see what's completed. just have it auto refresh. And I can even see here that it's going in here and it's already working on some rows here. It's not going to all be in order, but you can see it's just going to start populating tons of rows here pretty quickly. So it's running, it's working. Again, I can see here like what's been completed. I can even get rid of like the running sign so that it's just completed. And I can always just monitor, okay, like what was the input for this one? Did it for app name Calendar Hero. This one did it for Gigasheet. And you can kind of just monitor it this way, or you can monitor it this way as well. You can always check in on here and see like how much are pending. But yeah, it's running through each line item, and that's basically the fundamentals of batching and queuing here. So yeah, there's more things you can do, and I can cover that in another advanced video.